Hello, this is Prophetess Elise, your intel girl from the spirit world. Happy holidays. Of course, this week is Thanksgiving. Of course, got some intel to tell you, especially concerning the last video that I did. But this video, we're going to be talking about 5 nights with Freddy's. Now, I got it correctly. I said it wrong in the last video about familiar spirits. Well, 5 Nights at Freddy, of course, the sequel is coming out December 5th. And, of course, Lord wanted me to give some intel on familiar spirits. And, of course, transfer of spirits. Now, as you might as well know, that us humans cannot take a spirit from somebody who we killed or died, or they died on their own, take their spirit and put it into something inanimate. We cannot do that. We do not have the abilities to do that. But spirits can go inside inanimate objects like, houses, vehicles, cars like Christine in the movie. They can go into even AI. They can go into things that are not really alive, but they have the ability to be, used. And animatronics, this movie, of course, is a sequel to the last movie about this so-called pizzeria that's now, closed down. And, of course, it's being monitored by security guards so nobody come in and try to rob stuff, and to keep the animatronics up and about and working and stuff like that. Well, if you're from my generation, and if you remember Showbiz Peace, and even if you're not from my generation, the millennials and alphas, and your generation Z's, you have Chuck E. Cheese. Well, Showbiz Pizza, when you come in, eat your pizza with the kids, they had the arcade games. Of course, what you had was these moving animatronic looking machine-like animals that was sing and look like puppets. And of course, in Showbiz Pizza time, they had this creepy looking big old gorilla in the middle that was sing, and play music, but he always looked creepy to me. Well, of course, they switched over from Showbiz Pizza to Chuck E. Cheese, and you see the rat. And, of course, you still see them singing on and off, but not as much as they did back in the day. Well, this movie is based on those type of pizzerias. But apparently it got shut down because of some scandal. Some kids mysteriously got, annihilated and executed when they were in the pizzeria. 5 of them missed, and then some other stuff was happening. And, of course, it got, shut down. But still some eerily stuff going on. And so the owner, of course, was the one you find out later. And I'm a spoiler alert. I'm spoiling. The owner, of course, was causing the demise of the 5 children. And apparently he took the souls of that children, put the children and hide them in the animatronics. And apparently their spirits was transferred into these animatronic machines. And the reason why they got a security guard, because sometimes they got to get up and walk around and move around so they don't completely shut down. And maybe of use, I don't know what for. But of course, apparently these type of animatronic, animals and stuff are malicious and destructive in nature. So they come across a security guard, you might end up to your demise. Well, come to find out, that he had, annihilated these kids and put them inside these animatronics, apparently, and is controlling them, getting them to do his bidding for them. Now, we're going to tell in a spiritual sense. There's nowhere in the Bible where we have the ability to transfer a spirit. You hear in the Bible about, a spirit, comes out of a man and then they walks to and fro, seeing who they can inhabit and find another place. And if they cannot find another place, they come back to the same original state. So the spirits lurk around. They're lurking around and they are copycats. And of course, in actuality, he could not really put them inside. But, as I was talking about last week about familiar spirits or mocking spirits, just like them, can mimic, just like in the Black Phone 1 and 2, they can mimic, copy have the same personality, and mimic exactly who that person was, whether it was a child, male, female. And it can mimic them and seem like it's the same personality, the same person, but it's not. It's familiar. And so that's what was inhabiting them. And of course, push come to shove, these so-called animatronics find out that this man was the one, of course, doing all this stuff and had really put them in here to begin with. And so they start retaliating against him. And of course, apparently he gets killed by his own machinery, animatronic, and he ends up as one. And they said it's an old video game that's been around for years and years. And of course, apparently in the sequel, they're going to go really into the deepness of the pizza Five Nights at Freddy pizzeria, really how the pizzeria was originated, and all this scandal and stuff and what they were trying to hide and stuff. And then apparently the owner, the annihilator, comes back. But in this particular intel here, you cannot human beings do not have the ability. I don't care if they even operate in witchcraft, but if you thought about it in a sense, he could have been using those spirits, whatever spirits was inside those animatronics. Warlocks, witchcrafts, those who operate in the dark arts can manipulate, and they can be in agreement and get some of these spirits to do their bidding. So that's really what he was doing their bidding, doing what he say. And of course, most within these spirits not going to come against their owner, but they will retaliate and they will get tired of you saying, I'm tired of being used by you. Now it's time for you to go down, because since you opened up this portal for us to operate in, we going ahead and just take you on with us. That's mainly what happens, and people don't realize when you operate in the dark arts. And then, the next videos I'm talking about Wicked 2, when you open up your self to them, whether intentionally or unintentionally, you give them a rite of passage to come in. So if you open up your life into demonic portals, just like this man did, because he apparently mentally he was already like that before he owned the pizza. He had a lot of stuff, said history that messed him up in his head. So he was psychologically already damaged. That opens up doors too. Trauma can open up doors to you, open up to the portals. And of course, he decided he wanted to annihilate and kill young things. He even didn't kill his own daughter, who was older, in the last movie, in order to, try to stop, everything from happening. So a lot of things can happen. I'll talk more about how these open doors can happen in witchcraft. As you can see, my book's about to come out next year. So be on the lookout for the writing, the creation, and behind it. But many things can open up people to witchcraft and open up them to the demonic portals and the occult. That can happen. So there was a wrap up on Five Nights at Freddy that, no, we don't have the ability to transfer, but we can open ourselves to them, and then we can operate in them, and they can be temporarily in agreement with us until they don't want to be anymore. So that's kind of like what happened to Five Nights at Freddy's. So make sure you subscribe to this channel, and be on the lookout for another intel about more familiar spirits. We just on that familiar spirits, trained right now. But you have to test and try the spirits, and understand that things they put out in the word, humans don't have the ability to do that. But humans can have the spiritual capability to get involved in the dark demonic areas, and cause things to occur with people, cause deaths and all this stuff through the operation of witchcraft, sorcery, necromancy, you name it. So make sure you subscribe to this channel. Make sure you start, looking for more intel, especially in this holiday season. So happy Thanksgiving, and I'll talk to you later. Goodbye.